Welcome to another RSR. Tonight we got a double. We're going to start with Toronto Maple Leafs 4, Ottawa Senators 2, NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs Round 1, Game 6. Leafs win the series 4-2, just like they won the game 4-2. And the Leafs are moving on to the second round to play the Florida Panthers. And then, for about 5-6 minutes, we'll talk about CF Cruz Azul 1, Tigres UANL 2-1 on aggregate, CONCACAF Champions Cup 2025 Semifinal Leg 2, CF Cruz Azul 1, Tigres UANL 0, 2-1 global, Concachampions Semifinales, Partido Vuelta, Cruz Azul avanza de la final contra Vancouver Whitecaps. Cruz Azul is going to the final to play the Vancouver Whitecaps. But first, most of this video is going to be about the Leafs and Sens, because guess what? Yeah, that's what I'm happy about. And the game was way more entertaining. Starting in the first period, a power play goal, 18:50 through the period. Nylander, Marner assist, Marner with a primary. Austin Matthews with a laser of a shot. Shoot low, Sheriff. Past the foot of Linus Ullmark to make it 1-0 Toronto Maple Leafs. And you're starting to feel like, hey, on the power play no less, you're starting to feel like, hey, they might win this. Shoot low, Sheriff. Shoot low, Captain. Past the foot. Just barely. 1-0. End of one. It's 1-0 Toronto. 43 seconds in. Max Pacioretty with an assist to William Nylander. Willie Styles, they don't want none. Puts one past Ullmark. How phenomenal on his birthday. Willie Styles, William Nylander, 2-0. And that wouldn't be it for him, but we'll get there. 43 seconds in to the second period, and you're like, oh my, they actually will do this. They will slay the mental dragon and win and close out a series. But Brady Tkachuk says not so fast. 7:28 through the second. Shabbat with a point shot. Tkachuk with a tap in, 2-1. And the Sens are back in it. End of two, it's 2-1. And you're starting to get a bit worried if you're the Leafs. And third period, you were right to be concerned, because 12:40 through the third, Shabbat plays it on. Perron just behind the net, backhands it off the shoulder of Stolarz and into the net. You really can't do nothing about that except hug the post, but he was so low, he put it over the shoulder. I guess that's how you beat Stolarz, is go over his shoulder. I guess so. 2-2 tie game, but 2 minutes later, oh, you thought Max Pacioretty was done? No. 14:21 through the second. Max Domi plays it to Max Pacioretty. Max Pacioretty with a laser pass Ullmark. And we were complaining about him being in the lineup and then moved up to the second line. No, Craig Berube is right. He's a winner. That's why you trust him. He said Pacioretty could do it. He did. I always believed in ya. I always believed in ya. At least Berube. But you know what? Pacioretty, do your thing. The maximum line. The maximum connection. The former Habs, which Rory will be very happy about that. The former Habs. Max Domi. Maximum Domi to maximum Pacioretty. 3-2. Leafs have the lead. And then finally, 1941, William Nylander skates on the back check, as he normally should, beats the Sens defender, open net, slots it home, 4-2. The birthday boy wraps it up. Instead of unwrapping a present, he wrapped it up. Because the Leafs win 4-2, final 4-2. Leafs win Game 6 and win the series 4-2. Both the game and series have the same numbers. Curse Buster? Who knows? But the Toronto Maple Leafs win. They're going on to round 2. And you sit there, you're like, damn. Man, I wish this didn't have to go 6. But you know what? The Leafs probably needed that. You want to win the Stanley Cup, you got to prove you're different. And guess what? They did. The core four showed up. Pacioretty, we were giving him shit for the past 3-4 days. He showed up. Domi showed up. Lawton, he's always been showing up. That line, LLJ, always been showing up. Yarncroke, Lawton, Lorentz, they've always been showing up. Tavares showed up. Well, he's part of the core four. Matthew Nyes, that kid wanted it. You could tell. That kid wanted it. And the whole team followed. Austin Matthews scores a goal. Marner with a point. Nylander with 3 points. 2 goals, secondary assist. Max Pacioretty with 2 points. I didn't even predict that. I thought people who were predicting a Pacioretty point were crazy. God love them, but that was crazy. But they were right. Craig Berube probably did too. Man, you're magnificent, Craig Berube. You're a winner. And that's why they have you. They changed their mentality. Berube had them ready to play. This team is different. That's what this shows. Point blank, period. This team is different. On the freaking ropes. Back against the wall. You lose, you're probably getting reverse swept because we know Leafs hockey, they probably would play worse in Toronto. They needed to win this game. Let's be real. They did. They went up 2-0. They blew the lead. I wouldn't say blew it. The Sens goals were more puck luck, bad bounces. As most of their goals have been this series. I'm not saying they're lucky, but they were tonight. They weren't lucky game 5. That was a total ass kicking. That was a bad game. Game 4, it is what it is. Games 1 through 3, Leafs won. They were lucky a couple of times, but I think they were the better team. Game 6, Sens were lucky. It was a microcosm of the series. Leafs strong early. Sens get lucky to tie it up. Leafs save it late, like the first 3 games. And this time it didn't even take overtime. The Leafs score 1 soon after the Sens' very lucky goal. The hockey gods said no. Pacioretty somehow. And then empty net from the birthday boy, William Nylander. The phenomenal Willie Styles. Ottawa doesn't want none. They don't want none in Florida. Deep down, you know it. You don't want none neither. You know what? This year, it's going to go better than 2 years ago. Because again, 2 years ago, the Leafs won the first round. They played the Florida Panthers. Unproven Florida Panthers at the time. This time, they're playing the Stanley Cup champions. And this time, the Leafs are going to show their new mentality. If we lose, I'll still throw my hands up and say, hey, Florida, they're the better team. They're the tougher team. But I think Leafs fans can hold their heads up high. We win. We go to the conference final. We're the favorite. We lose, we throw our hands up and say, hey, we got outfoxed by a team who's tougher and honestly better and the defending Stanley Cup champions. And very likely if they beat us, they're going to the conference, the semifinal, or Stanley Cup final, and they'll probably win it again. So it's either the Leafs slay the champions and the team that last beat them in the second round to go on and be the favorite left in this league. I like those odds. I think the Leafs win 2 games at least. The question is where the other 2 come from. But I like the Leafs' chances, ironically enough. Now that they showed toughness and how to basically say, hey, we're going to set this down and finish it. No question, we're going to end it now. Good, you showed mental toughness. Now it's time to sack up and do it again. The Temu Panthers, the Dollarama Panthers, they're done. You got another Tkachuk to deal with. And Brady went down. Matthew, we're going to find out. 1 Tkachuk down, 1 to go, eh? To go halfway, go to the conference final. You know what? It's got to be that way, eh? Let's do it. Go, Leafs, go. They deserve the win. Damn good game. They stepped up, they wanted it, they fought, they showed up, and they broke the curse of the mental toughness. They close out a series, Game 6, in the most toughest bounce back way I've ever seen. The Toronto Maple Leafs, you know what? It was a word. It was weird for a while there, but they got it done. And this team is different. If they weren't, they would have got reverse swept. They're on their way. They're going on. Let's see how round 2 goes. We'll be here for that as well. Bring it on, Florida. That's all I can say. Bring it on! Ottawa, they played tough. They got good playoff experience. They were tough. They never said die, even when their backs were against the wall. And to a certain extent, their backs were against the wall too. And they played tough. Brady Tkachuk had his moments. Thomas Chabot, Tim Stützle. The Ottawa Senators deserve respect. I will say that much. The Ottawa Senators, even though we hate them, even though Ottawa's our true rival when it comes to Canada, and Ottawa, the Battle of Ontario is Toronto, 5 times in the playoffs, 5-0. Ottawa Senators deserve respect. They're going to have some good times coming ahead if they keep this going. Solid. David Perron, I know how good he could be. He used to be a St. Louis Blue. I know how good he could be. This Ottawa team's a good team. And they never said die. And I think we have a lot more Battles of Ontario to watch in the playoffs in the near future if, well, this core doesn't get blown up after getting 4-1 by the Panthers. But, again, if that happens. But, you know, I think we might see some more Battles of Ontario. Just a hunch. Just like the good old days. Just like the Darcy Tucker, Ty Domi, Tomasz Kaberle, Matt Sundin days. I think we're going to see some more. And you know what? That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. It was awesome to watch a Battle of Ontario. And the Sens had their moments, as they normally do, and Toronto wins it. But even if they didn't, the Battle of Ontario is the way it should be. I love this more than the Bruins, I can tell you that much. With that being said, Sens, damn good season. Keep your heads up. You got something going. Leafs, push on, baby. It's time. Let's go. Now, with that being said, player of the game for the Leafs, William Nylander. Give it to the birthday boy. Now, Cruz Azul, it's up to you. CF Cruz Azul, 1. Tigres UANL, 0. It's fine. 0. 2-1 on aggregate. CF Cruz Azul 1. Tigres 0. 2-1 global. Cruz Azul advances to the final of the Champions Cup. And honestly, they choked this game out as much as they could. This was boring as all hell. Simple as boring. They got the goal they needed to host the final, which is good. But Jesus Christ, this was boring as hell. But you know what? As long the team that I think has a better chance of beating Vancouver won, so that's a good thing. Halftime, 0-0, 1-1 on aggregate, 0-0 esta noche, 1-1 global. Goals visited para Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul was the better team throughout the first half. I think they had better chances. I think the fact they had less possession was more score effects. The fact that Tigres had to score to win the tie or send it to extra time, they had to score. That was score effects. Most of the situations are shots on goal, passes, pass accuracy, led more to Cruz Azul. I think they were the better team throughout the first half and throughout the whole game. I think this is a fair result. Tigres had to throw everything at the kitchen sink just to go to extra time. And it didn't happen that way. 2 offside goals, but still, you didn't get it, did you? Right. So, Cruz Azul did their job. Simple as. Goal scored as follows. The penalty, handball, given as a penalty, 82nd minute, Angel Sepulveda, who got them here, scores the penalty, off the hands and in. Nahuel, off his hands, in the net, 1-0, 2-1 on aggregate, 1-0 esta noche, 2-1 global, and that's the way it would end after 18 more minutes. 1-0, 2-1 on the night, 1-0 esta noche, 2-1 global. That's the way it would end. Cruz Azul moves on. Full-time stats are as follows. 14 shots to 11. 6 shots on goal to 2. 38% possession to 62% possession. 282 passes to 464. 76% pass accuracy to 85% pass accuracy. 17 fouls to 14. 1 offside to 6. 1 yellow card to 4. 0 red cards to 0. 3 corners to 5. Tigres just couldn't get it done. Cruz Azul shut them down. Simple. Deserved win. A deserved win for Cruz Azul. They move on and host the final. Sepulveda scores the penalty, as he should. That's about all I could say. Cruz Azul were the better team. Except for the score effects, they were the better team. Simple. Simple. That's all I could say about that. The game was boring. And I did watch a high-octane Leafs versus Sens game before it. I don't know how much that had to do with it, but maybe my energy was sapped because I cared more about this. But hey, Cruz Azul, you're just like us. A cursed team who finally broke a curse, or at least got to a final. Now, the next thing for you to do is win that final, and I better see you do that. Now, for the Leafs, they broke the curse of losing in the first round and doing dumb shit and blowing leads. But hey, you're just like us. That's why I kept wearing the shirt. You're just like us. Mucho éxito de la Cruz Azul para los hermanos de la Toronto Maple Leafs. You're just like us. With that being said, if you like this video, okay, player of the game for Cruz Azul, Sepulveda. There you go. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlist. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. Tomorrow, sometime early afternoon, I will have the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal recap video up before we go live and review the St. Louis Blues, Winnipeg Jets, and St. Louis Blues Game 6. We'll be live for that and review that Friday night. That's what we got tomorrow. Toronto FC plays Saturday night. We'll see if the Leafs play Saturday. I'm not sure. We'll see what Sunday looks like. There will be something there where the Blues go to a Game 7, where the Leafs start their series on Sunday, or we just have a football match. Either way, we'll see what Sunday brings as well, but we'll be live Sunday. I'm just not so sure what it will be. But there you go. Possible hockey on Saturday after a TFC game. Hockey Friday after a recap video. And there you go. Sunday, possible hockey or football. Some will be there, though. Monday, be an off day unless the Leafs start on Monday. With that being said, there you go. I'll see you later. Leafs win. Let's go. Congratulations. Felicidades, Cruz Azul. Commiserations, Tigres. We have a CONCACAF final, and we have a Eastern Conference second round. I hope the Canadian team wins one of them. Preferably the Eastern Conference semifinal. But with that being said, I'll see you. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace. See you.